So how many of you remember in high school having to get up super early to go to school and feeling like really tired and like not being able to pay attention in your first class? Okay, well you guys were definitely not the only ones, even though I know our parents like to think we're the only tired teenagers on the planet. About 80% of high school students are sleep deprived according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And most parents and doctors are blaming this on the fact that 60% of schools start before 8 o'clock. So most of us went to these public high schools that started in between 7 and 8. I myself went to a high school that started at 7 for 3 years, so I know how difficult it is to concentrate in like a really early class or being really tired. Starting school has many negative consequences for teens, and it would be very beneficial not just to teenagers but to society as a whole if school started later. So first I will talk about why starting school early is a problem, then I'll talk about what are some possible solutions, and lastly how these solutions benefit teens and society. So first I want to talk about why this is a problem. So according to the article Let Them Sleep by the American Academy of Pediatrics, published in 2014, teens need 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and it's actually very difficult for teenagers to fall asleep before 11 o'clock. So if you start school between 7 and 8, but you can't go to sleep before 11, and you need to get up 1 to 2 hours before school starts to get ready and get there, you're probably only getting 5 to 7 hours of sleep, which is about 3 hours under how much you actually need. And according to the article, School Really Should Start Later by Rose Eveleth, published in 2014, some health issues are depression, obesity, substance abuse, lack of impulse control, and suicide. These are only health issues that can occur. There's also academic issues like truancies, absences, lack of motivation, decreased academic performance. There's also increased car accidents among schools that start really early, and this not just affects teenagers, it's also affecting anybody who's driving at this time. So now that I've talked about why starting school early is such a problem, I'll talk about some possible solutions. So to solve this problem, we need to get groups together that involve teachers, parents, doctors, big name organizations, other government officials, and we need to start like signing petitions or taking our issues to the school district or to other forms of government and asking them if they can pass laws that will force schools not to start before 8:30. And according to the website npr.org, big school districts in the East Coast have actually started listening to complaints by parents and are considering or have already made changes to school times. And also, according to that same website, the American Academy of Pediatrics is behind the cause of starting school later because they're the ones that did the research and found that 80% of students are sleep deprived. So that's really alarming and something needs to be done about it. And so now that I've talked about possible solutions to this problem, I want to talk about how these solutions will affect teens and society. So according to the impact of delaying start time, the research found that just a 30-minute delay leads to a 40% increase of students who sleep 8 hours or more, and a decrease of 70% of students who sleep 5 to 7 hours. So these are really impressive results. There's also increased motivation, increased academic performance, less truancies and absences, and there's also decreased depressed thoughts among students whose school was, even if it's just like a little change, like 30 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but it does make a big difference. And one case that I thought was really interesting was a Wyoming high school who they moved their start time to 8:55, so almost 9 o'clock, which is a big difference. If you're starting school like at 7, that's like a 2-hour difference. So just moving the start time to 9 o'clock led to a decrease of 70% of car crashes that involved teens from the school. This is really important because that means that there'll be less teens involved in car accidents and also less people that are driving at that time involved in car accidents, so that could be potentially saving people's lives. Now that I've talked about the problem, the possible solutions, and how these solutions will benefit us, it's time to finish up this presentation. So teens, not just teens, but society as a whole will benefit if school is pushed back even just half an hour. And so I talked about why starting school early is a problem, the possible solutions to this, and how our society can change if something is done about it. And now that we can vote and our voice is heard a little bit better now, we need to bring a change that will lead to a healthier society, a healthier and happier society.